Video. I wanted to give an update on consistent whole day intermittent fasting. And if you're one of those people that thinks it's improper etiquette to talk with something in your mouth, pardon me, but this ginseng has been real today. It's been very helpful. So, my update on consistent whole day intermittent fasting. This video is for those of you that have been feeling the nudge, in your spirit to do a consistent weekly fast, but might have been having trouble or have been having trouble, getting yourself motivated or in the rhythm or habit of doing it. So I want to provide some testimony and reflection on how beneficial it is to be helpful to those of you who need it. So, consistent whole day intermittent fasting. I know some people have windows where they eat and they don't eat. I did that in the beginning, and I noted that my body needed whole day cleansing. So, one analogy that I came up with, hopefully I'm not using that word out of context, police of proper utilization of words, don't come after me. But what came to me was when people drive their vehicles, their cars, they fill them with gas and they drive them throughout the week, and they do not fill their car with that fuel every day because they don't need to. They probably only do it a couple times a week. So, in my experience, that's what's worked best for me in my vehicle of my human body. I don't need to consume every day. And I think that people can see the evidence of unnecessary consumption by what they see when they look in the mirror. If they have extra body weight and fat, that is evidence that the body is over consuming, that the person's over consuming, and they need to take time to allow the digestive system to reset, get rid of waste that's backed up, get rid of fat. And I'm not talking SHIT, I'm speaking from experience. I've lost about 30 pounds from consistent weekly whole day intermittent fasts. It's intermittent because I'm not fasting for the whole week, but it was important for me to incorporate whole days, starting with one whole day and building up to a couple. And that has been very beneficial. It's helped me lose about 30 pounds. It helped me get rid of excess stomach fat that was there, waist buildup, unnecessary extra weight that was in my legs, my bikini line, all those areas where short people, I'm a shorty, short people can start to accumulate weight, and taller people too, but I'm speaking from the reference point of a shorty person, so it was just starting to get tough, and I'd be walking, sound like I was running, so I was walking, huffing and puffing, and that's when I knew that I needed to make a change. So people are like, they resort to exercise. Yes, I was exercising a lot, walking is exercise, and I was running sometimes and would incorporate it consistently. But I would say that the fasting, well, I know for a fact that the fasting has been the most beneficial for me because that's what my body needed. It needed to reset, it needed to cleanse, and it needed to get rid of toxins, fat, and build up, which is what happens to some people. And it's perfectly okay. It's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about. It's just something to work on to help you look and feel your best again. And that's what it's all about. So, um, I already said, looking at my notes, I already said that the body needs time to release. People think they are not on overload because they poop every day. They think that they're, regular because they poop every day. But what I've discovered is that you can go a couple days without eating and then drink, and then the body will start to release, even though you haven't eaten yet, because there's buildup that needs to be released. So just because, poop is coming out regularly doesn't mean that there's not waste buildup. And if the body is starting to store fat, it's evident, people are going to start to notice overload. I've spoke on that. My stomach was starting to get extra. So that was evidence of, overload of consumption. The digestive system, the metabolism need a break to reset, to catch up, to eliminate old waste. And yes, I spoke on that. No need to feel embarrassed. Right. So, whole day intermittent fasting helps the digestive system release backed up waste. I have found that the body just needs a small, consistent, regular break from food experimentation, processed foods. And I know some of you are like, I don't eat processed foods, but if you don't press your own oils, it's processed. And if you don't grow your own nuts and seeds, it's processed. And if you don't grow your own produce, then it has organic chemicals in it, which require actual gas masks and protective plastic wear to the people that are actually administering those organic chemicals on the organic produce that has been eaten. Now, don't get me twisted. I think and have noticed in my food experimentation that organic works better than conventional and non-GMO because that's just a whole nother level of experimentation. But just to state that why the regular cleansing is so crucial, why it's so beneficial, because there's constant food experimentation going on in the body. And the body is self-sufficient and highly intelligent. That's why we give it gas, aka air, so our gases, want to be all technical about what's all in the air. But excuse me. Yeah, so I already spoke on how, why it's beneficial because of the food intake and how people don't put gas in their car 24/7 because the tank can't hold it. Unfortunately, the body can hold food 24/7, and some people will just start to get bigger and bigger and bigger because that's what I was doing. And then, now I'm like just dedicated to not being in an overconsumption state. One of the benefits of consistent whole day fasting is resetting the whole parasite function. What I've noted is that prior to this, I would be so excited to eat sweets. Like it was just like more of a influence to eat sweets. And now it's like I gotta force myself to try some sweets. It's like, so it's different, once you actually get into the habit of fasting and cleansing, you become more of a conscious eater, even if you already were a conscious eater, because I was, but I would still, have my parasites making suggestions. And now they just get so disillusioned, they thankful for some kale. They're like, pull the sugar out of it, I guess. So I think it's necessary. And what I've noticed in my experience is to have at least one full day of not eating so that the body can handle what it needs to handle in reference to the benefits of fasting, cleansing, eliminating. And some of the benefits I've already discussed, which is 30 pounds of extra garbage, waste released, fat released, toxins that are stored in the fat released, which is really important. Fat stores toxins. So, and how did I get overweight? Just like unconscious eating when I wasn't hungry, eating just because I was feeding others, that require food, children. And now I can't even stuff myself anymore. And that's a benefit of fasting consistently, regularly. I can't stuff myself anymore. It's just like I know when I'm doing too much before I do it. I don't even stuff my plate anymore. I'm like very, I serve myself differently and I'm eating different amounts on my eating days, which means that fasting consistently has made me a more conscious eater than I already was. Because just because somebody's eating healthy doesn't mean they're really being conscious with what they're eating, especially if they're eating at the wrong time of the day, which I am classically professional at. I would like go all day without eating and then just eat at night, which isn't in alignment with nature and the sunrise and all those energies that help with digestion. But anyways, so as well as like just overconsumption, big portions, which are unnecessary because the body doesn't need all of that. It's just extra. So then the stomach starts to look extra. So I already spoke about the parasites, not stuffing the self, conscious eating, conscious. Right. So, going through my notes, just making sure that I reach everything that I wanted to state in this video. And, oh, yeah. So, another important thing that I wanted to discuss is that in the beginning of this journey of whole day consistent weekly fasting, I noted that in the beginning, like the first month, even into the second month, my focus was on not eating. It was just like, because I'm making food, regularly for my children. So my focus was on not eating. And it takes 40 days to change a habit. And it takes, I think, 90 days to confirm a new habit. And after 120 days, the habit is who you are. So I'm in the habit, the fasting habit is who I am now. It's like, I literally like feel like it feels completely natural for me to do the consistent fasting, even though it's challenging. And we'll get to that in a second, the different levels of challenge. But it feels normal for me now because I'm into the habit of it. It has become habitual, ritual. That doesn't mean that it's not challenging, because it does come with challenges. But I would say the first level of challenge, when the habit is being changed and confirmed, and then the new habit being formed, which is the habit of fasting and cleansing consistently, regularly. The first challenge was not eating, like just controlling the self, and then, not feeling like you're missing out on it because you're not. You don't need it. I mean, like anytime that you have a fast, it's like, you don't need that, because you are cleansing, healing, and that's what you need. And that's, has to be the consciousness. So the second challenge that I've noticed in the next stage after the not eating has become habitual is not eating is like easy because it's a habit at that point. The part that it becomes challenging in my personal reflection is staying consistent in energy work to circulate energy, cultivate energy, to stay energized and on top of regular, responsibilities and tasks, especially if the desire is just to go to sleep because the body is healing and is like just done. And that's in reference to dry fasting, because liquid fasting is easy now. It's like, you got something in your system, you cruising, you flowing, you chilling. But dry fasting is like you just pulling up on some other resources, besides the air. Is like you're really pulling that wheel power to, get through it and maintain it. But I would say that the greatest, things to overcome is feeling like you're missing out, knowing that you're not missing out, and staying consistent in doing exercises like qigong and breath work that cultivate your energy and circulate your energy so that you don't feel fatigued. And that's basically the stage that I'm in, is being more disciplined and learning how to be more disciplined so that I don't feel fatigued and stay on top of everything that I need to do. So that's what I wanted to share. I hope that it has been beneficial to those of you who have been feeling that call to do weekly consistent fasting and maybe been on the fence about how to incorporate it. I started with one full day. Like I said, I could tell that my body needed that. Drop my ginseng. Those windows weren't enough for me personally because I had too much toxicity and fat that my body needed to release. And as most of you might know, when you fast, your body begins to eat up and eliminate toxins. One day of dry fasting is equal to 3 days of liquid fasting. So it's very powerful. And that is what I have to say. I hope that this video inspires you and encourages you to do it regularly if that's what your body tells you you need to do. Wishing everyone lots of enjoyment of their existence. Peace.